Oh, hey there. This is Mr. G, and I'm coming at you with a video about two-step inequalities. Let's get it, huh? So, two-step inequalities are the exact same thing as two-step equations. So that's our key idea right here. Okay, so if you know how to solve a two-step equation, you should know how to solve a two-step inequality. Um, and then this should be a really, really, really easy section for you. But let's just take a look at a couple of the main basics when solving two-step equations or two-step inequalities. So first things first is our goal is always to get our variable by itself. So I want to get x by itself. And that means I want to have that be the only thing on the left side of the inequality symbol. So in order to do that, I got to get rid of the plus 7 and I got to get rid of the multiply by 2. Almost always when we're solving equations and inequalities, we want to get rid of our addition and subtraction first. We want to get rid of these constants. So what I need to do is I need to get rid of the plus 7. So the way I get rid of plus 7 is I subtract 7. Because 7 minus 7 is 0. And whatever I do on one side of the inequality symbol, I'll draw that line to show, I also have to do on the other. 7 minus 7 is 0. It cancels. I bring down my 2x. Notice how I'm showing my steps. I'm drawing my arrows as to what's happening. And I have to bring down that inequality symbol because we're not going to change it right now. Okay, and we got to make sure we don't replace it with an equal sign. Now, I need to figure out 2 times something is greater than 4. So what I need to do is I need to figure out, well, 2 times what is greater than 4? And I need to cancel out this multiplication by doing the opposite, which is division. That will get my x by itself because 2 divided by 2 is 1, which goes away because I don't need to write 1x. So I get x is greater than 4 divided by 2, because whatever I do on the left side, I have to do on the right side, is 2. And then, as always, we should be graphing pretty much all of our solutions. Okay? So I'm going to start my number line at 2, draw a couple numbers to each side, use an open circle because there's no or equal to, and since x is greater than, I'm going to shade to the right. And that's it. Okay, so a two-step inequality is basically the exact same thing as a two-step equation. Okay, now let's look at another one. Now remember, we do need to flip our sign when multiplying or dividing by a negative number. That rule still applies. So if you haven't seen the video for one-step inequalities, make sure you watch that. But that rule is still relevant. Okay, so we solve it the exact same way as we solve a two-step equation. So first thing I want to do is get rid of my constant. I want to get rid of the minus 4. Okay, so because this is multiplication here. This is negative 5 times x minus 4. So because I'm trying to get x by itself, I got to get rid of the negative 5 and the negative 4. So the way I get rid of minus 4 is I do the opposite, because I want to cancel it out. And the opposite would be plus 4. Whenever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. Okay, I need to bring down my inequality symbol. Those cancel. I haven't done anything with this negative 5x. I have to bring that down to show what I'm doing next. And 11 plus 4 is 15. So again, I wanted to undo negative 4 or minus 4 by adding 4 to both sides. Now I have negative 5x is greater than or equal to 15. So again, to get my x by itself, I need to cancel out multiplication by doing division. So because I'm multiplying by negative 5, I need to divide by negative 5. And whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. These cancel, but look at what I did here. I did divide both sides by a negative. So because I divided both sides by a negative, this is that special rule where I have to flip my sign. And I get x is less than or equal to negative 3. And then that's where I could graph. Okay, and I'll just do a quick graph just so I can make this video not go too long. Because x is less than, I'm going to go left. Now, one thing to remember, you can always check a solution. The way you check to see if something is a solution to a specific inequality is you can plug in any value and see if it makes the inequality true. And you can plug it into the original inequality. So I can plug in negative 5 here and see if it makes a true inequality. Because negative 5 is part of my solutions set. So if I have negative 5, let's plug in negative 4 just because that won't get confusing. So if I have negative 4 here, I want to plug that into this inequality. I want to see if it's true. Okay, see if I actually graphed my solution correctly. So if I plug in negative 4, because that's part of my solution, in for x, I'll have negative 5 times negative 4 minus 4. And that needs to be greater than or equal to 11. Negative 5 times negative 4 is positive 20 minus 4, which is 16. Is 16 greater than or equal to 11? Yep, that's a solution. Had I plugged in 0, negative 5 times 0 minus 4, is that greater than or equal to 11? Well, this is 0 minus 4 is greater than or equal to 11. Negative 4, is that greater than or equal to 11? Negative 4 is not bigger than 11. That is not a solution, which is why my arrow was not going this way, because the numbers to the right of negative 3 on the number line are not part of my solution. 0 would not make this true, which is why 0 is not a solution. Okay, so that's how we would check our work to make sure we did it correctly. Okay, I would try this one on my own if I were you. Give it a shot, see how you do, and then so you can pause the video and then see how I solve it. So this one kind of throws some people off every once in a while because we know I got to get my y by itself. So I have to get rid of this negative 3 and I have to get rid of this negative 5. But it's also being added. So people get confused like, oh man, like because it's addition, I have to do subtraction to get rid of it. But hopefully we can see right away which number we need to get rid of first. And it's the negative 5 here. I've got to get rid of this because this is my constant. Nothing's happening with this in my y. Okay, I mean it's something's happening between the two, but not really. Like this isn't being multiplied, it's not being divided. It's a constant. It's kind of floating out here. So I want to get rid of this. So because of that, I know it's being added with all of this, but what we want to do is we still want to focus on getting rid of a negative 5, and we have to ask ourselves, how would I cancel out negative 5? Because if I subtracted 5 here, that would not give me 0. Negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. But if I added 5, that would give me 0 because I have that exact opposite sign right below it. Because it's a negative sign up here, I'm going to put a positive sign right underneath it because the opposites make 0 and they cancel out. I don't need to bring down this plus sign anymore because it's just 0 plus y over negative 3. So really I just got to bring down my division of y divided by negative 3. And I also have to bring down my inequality symbol. So I can't, and I made a major mistake. Hopefully you guys caught me. So whatever I do on the left side, I have to do on the right side. So I should have had 8 here. Whoop, there we go. All right, cool. So now I got to get rid of the y divided by negative 3. And the way I get rid of division is I do multiplication. Multiplication cancels out division. And whatever I do on one side, I have to do on the other side. So negative 3 divided by negative 3 cancels out. And I get y. And I'm going to do something special with my sign here because if we notice I multiplied both sides by a negative, so I'm going to flip my sign to get y is greater than negative 4. Okay, so because y is greater than, it should be an open circle going to the right. All right, quick math joke time. All right, what do you call a crushed angle? So what do you call a crushed angle? An angle that is crushed. What do you call it? You call it a rectangle. Okay, good stuff. All right, guys, one more, and then try this one on your own. Pretty easy one. We'll give it a shot, and then we'll move forward. So first thing I need to do is I need to subtract 12 from both sides to get my variable by itself. So I want to get my variable by itself, so I have y divided by 5 plus 12 is less than 22. This is my constant. My constant, this is not being multiplied or divided by y. So because I want to get rid of the 5 and the 12, I'm going to get rid of my constant first by doing some subtraction. That goes away. I'm left with y divided by 5 is less than, and whatever I do on one side, I got to do on the other side, 10. Now, I got to get rid of this division. The opposite of division is multiplication. So because I'm trying to get rid of the 5, I'm going to multiply by 5. There we go. Those cancel. I do not have to flip my sign because I did not multiply both sides by a negative. So I just get y is less than 50. Open circle on 50 to the left. And that's it. So hopefully this video helped. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. G out.